Welcome to Bishop Stockford's podcast. Today's topic is about loyalty. Loyalty is the stable quality of being loyal, faithfulness to commitments or obligations. So David, what does loyalty mean to you?
I think loyalty is when you respect someone because they done something for you in the past. Like, let's say someone gives you money, you obviously have to pay them back because that shows loyalty.
Good answer. How about you, David?
I think loyalty is just, it doesn't have to be something materialistic. It's just showing someone that even though you are their friend, that you're actually there for them.
So do any of you lot show loyalty to Bishop Stockford's, and if so, how?
I think when it comes to loyalty, one of my personal case that just came back recently, and the Bishop Stockford gave me a chance that most colleges, most sixth forms didn't give me, and it allowed me basically to study things that I wanted to do, and I guess educate myself. So I think I've got that loyalty somewhat for the school because I feel somewhat indebted to them. I just think that's the main point.
And is there any way that you show that loyalty?
I think for me as a student, it's just about studying, making sure that the trust or the chance that they gave to me, it basically they get something back to it. So I think since I feel indebted to them, I guess I have to study hard, and that's the way I think I can repay them or show that loyalty.
I think that loyalty is actually really important, and you can show loyalty by actually being respectful and how you act towards teachers and other students in our school as well.
Do you think some students are loyal to the teachers in the school?
Not some students are, but not every single student.
So what piece of advice would you give them to improve on that loyalty?
I would just say show respect, like for me, and be trustworthy enough to a teacher. Like that's what I can say. When you're loyal, you're more trustworthy. So if your family feel like they can't trust you and feel like you're not loyal enough, nobody else can. If your family feel that way, then nobody else will be able to.
So any of you got on the sports team?
I used to play football, and I think there's one thing with like team sports or team clubs where in a competitive setting, I think you need to trust the man or woman that's basically beside you. I think that holds true in many relationships. Most of the time, I guess loyalty builds trust. And I think in all relationships, whether that be in school, family, friendship, that basically holds true in the sense that you have to be loyal, and you basically have to have that trust. And I think one thing that I guess sports provided me was that I guess teaching me to trust the person next to me, to basically have his back, to be loyal. And I think even though it has its separate ways, so it has its different ways of showing it. I guess that's the way I showed it.
I think that sports is a really good way to show loyalty, because I used to be on a cheerleading team for 2 years, and we did like a whole lot of competitions around London, and I feel like if there wasn't that sense of loyalty, that we could have never performed properly, because if one girl or one boy dropped or they failed or they decided that they didn't want to do it properly, we could have ruined our scores for the whole event.
What I think, many people break the loyalty because they don't trust you enough, because they don't really believe in you.
So how do you think you could strengthen that trust?
I can continue that trust by acting loyal, but not just acting. Think deep inside. Think think deep inside what your parents have taught you from being little. Like don't say bad words, help the homeless, help other people that falls down.
Cool. Do you think loyalty to God is more like being loyal to a cause or to a person? Any inputs?
I think it depends. Certain people have different views on religion. Well, I think that I grew up Catholic, so I think when God, I wouldn't say he's a person. I wouldn't also say he's a cause or value. Um, uh, to be honest, if I'm being entirely honest, I don't know what technically what it is. What I can say is that I think being loyal to, I guess, God is somewhat similar to being loyal to I guess, to another person in a sense, to like a parent or someone, a close relative, in the sense that I guess you try and do right by them, try and make sure that you know what they taught you is well, you reflect that in everyday life. For an example, like he said, like showing random acts of kindness, etc. So I wouldn't know if it's a cause or a person that you're being loyal to, but I think it could be a combination of both.
I just want to play the devil's advocate here. Could you argue that God is someone that's constant throughout your life, but people who are being loyal to you, they might leave you. So could you argue that being loyal to God is more important because He's always there, but people around you might go?
I think not necessarily because I think there's I think well in the Bible it says that God forgives etc. So I think God's more willing to forgive than a human. I think when it comes to a person, I think you have to. It's much more complicated than it is personally for me, God, because I feel like God will understand at the end of the day, whereas human have certain feelings, may have certain point of view, they've got a different type of view, and might not always, I guess, forgive like God